Hello everyone and welcome back to Empkin Gardening. Today we are going to start our perennial cleanup. So I think what the game plan for today is we're going to kind of walk you through all of our different perennials that we have, and we're going to show you how we prune them back every season, the beginning of every season, just to give you like an overview of the different types of pruning that we do. In a different video we're going to start doing the flower bed cleanup, but that's a pretty large process. It takes a couple days, so that'll be a very separate video. But today we're going to really focus on the perennials that we have. So follow along. So to start off, we're going to begin on our driveway bed and start with our perennial grasses. We have 3 different types of perennial grasses in this bed, 2 of which I don't remember the name of. One of them is the Apache Rose, Prairie Winds from Proven Winners, and it kind of grows up and then has like fairy-like plumes. We have this grass that has, I know it doesn't look like it now, but beautiful plumes in the fall. They're nice and big. So how you know it's time to prune your grasses is when you see new signs of growth. So you can just take your pruners and cut away the dead top part, and that's all you need to do for your grasses. So right here we have a butterfly bush, and we also have several different butterfly bushes on our property. We typically go with the Madame butterflies. These guys will get big, like 3 feet tall and pretty wide. They have like these beautiful panicle type blooms, and they're great for all pollinators, butterflies, hummingbirds, bees. So how you prune these ones is you just follow it back to a nice strong bloom and cut it there. Let's find another one for you. So right here, I'm gonna follow it to that one. And I'm going to prune off all of the 3Ds, dead, diseased, and damaged. Probably not a lot of disease, but quite a bit of dead. So I will take off all of that. So you can see we took off all the dead. There wasn't a lot of damage. We cleaned up the base. This is to hopefully encourage blooms all along the stem, coming from all along the stem, and not just at the top. So if you had left everything, you would have still gotten blooms, but they would have just been on the top of the plant instead of coming from all around the plant. And I personally would want blooms everywhere. So that's what you can do with your butterfly bushes. And now we're gonna move on to something else. Okay, so we have our Baptisia right here, and this is a pink lemonade Baptisia from Proven Winners. And if you zoom in closely, you can see the new growth shooting up from the bottom. And all you have to do with this Baptisia is just come in and cut off the old stems. And they will all come up fresh and new from the ground each year. The pink lemonade does get big as well. It's around 3 feet. Moving right along, we have our Sage Advice Russian Sage from Proven Winners. And this one gets a little bit big. What I like about this Russian Sage is it has a very upright growth habit, so it doesn't spill out into our driveway, which makes it really easy for us to access and come in and out. It just has really stronger stems, and it keeps really upright. So with the Russian Sage, you just come in to the new growth and you cut. So here we have our Indiglow Girl Perennial Salvia. With this one, you can obviously see the new growth coming. It's ready to be pruned. You just take off the old stalks. And remember, we're not going to show the fertilizing, but you can give it a little fertilizer. What I forgot to mention with the Russian sage is the Russian sage does not need to be fertilized. It doesn't really like to be fertilized. You can just leave it alone. Russian sage and perennial salvia are really great in a drought tolerant type of bed, which is why we have a lot of drought tolerant things on our driveway bed. They thrive in really kind of poor soil, poor watering conditions. Again, they don't really need to be fertilized. The Russian sage, we will not be fertilizing. Yeah, they're super easy, low maintenance plants. Okay, so another grass type perennial that we have are the red hot pokers. I'm not remembering the name right now, but we have the yellow and the red. This one is one of the yellows. And the thing with the hot pokers is you want to make sure that there's no danger of frost before you prune it. I think we're in the clear. We have some pretty amazing weather coming up. So you can see if you look closely that there is some life coming back. You have some grass coming up. And these guys have nice, strong, when they bloom, they have nice, strong, straight stems. And then it kind of like explodes at the top in the bloom. So all we're gonna do is take off, very similar to what we did with our grass. Kind of just take off all of this. And the new growth will start coming up right from the base, like how it's doing now, and all of this will be covered when it outgrows it. Okay, so here we are under our nice shaded cherry tree, and this cherry tree bed has interesting sun that it gets. Really harsh afternoon light, it gets some morning light, some all-day light. Back here, it's we're having a hard time finding things that will grow back here because it doesn't get a whole lot of light. But we do have some perennials in here. We have a lot of Echinacea. So Echinacea, you're going to cut, again, very similarly to the perennial salvia. You'll see the growth coming up from the bottom. That's a good indicator that it's ready to be pruned back. And you can actually just kind of clean up the bottom. They come right out, and if you need to cut off that last bloom stalk, and it'll be ready to go for the spring. Okay, and then right in front of it we have a Delphinium, and with the Delphiniums you're probably not going to see a whole lot of growth yet coming up, but we will trim back the past year's growth for that. Before we do our first mow of the season, we let all of these little blooms grow. We love feeding the honeybees, so we let as much of them bloom before we do our first mow of the season. But we also have volunteer green onions everywhere in our front yard. They're everywhere. So we harvest from those from time to time and are appreciative of what they give to us. So moving on, you can prune your corabells, your Heucheras, and your Heucherellas all the same way. You'll see their growth, their new growth popping up, but you'll also see, like their old stalks and stems, and you can just go in with your pruners and kind of clean up the base of the plant. So just this new fresh growth is at the top. This one actually, you can see it pretty good. You can see kind of this old growth at the bottom. So you cut off all of that at the bottom. So it's just this new, fresh growth at the top. So again, you can do your Heucheras, your Heucherellas, and your Corabellas all the same. We're gonna move over there now. Okay, so in this little mini bed that we have right here, we do have a lot of perennials. Some that we've already talked about on how to prune. We have a bunch of Echinaceas that will come back through when we do our big flower bed cleanup. We'll tackle those then. But right here we have a Peony. And you can tell it's all budded up. There's lots of buds. This is a white peony, so it's gonna have big white blooms. All right, so you can see the peony in the peony ring from last year. Peonies do need support. Their stems are not very strong, so they do need support. And you can see clearly the dead growth. So we're going to just clean up all of that dead growth right at the bottom. And peonies do come up fresh from the ground every year, so in the fall, we did not do this correctly. In the fall, the best thing to do is to make sure your peonies are pruned back. We missed that step, but clearly everything is okay. They are still growing. And again, they're growing fresh from the ground. We call this our pine tree bed, and it does have several perennials in it. I love showing kind of like these before and afters because they look so different from our winter interest and like then all of these things popping up from the ground. These little plants that you see, this is an invasive ground cover. The only reason why I don't pull them is because they have the really pretty, dainty flowers that bloom off of them, and I just think that they're so delicate and beautiful, and if you're gonna have a ground cover, it might as well be pretty. So I let it. Is it a weed? Probably. Do I love it? Yeah. So I'm gonna keep it. This whole bed lined with amazing daisies, Shasta daisy. We have a tag right there. These are the daisy mays. Same thing, you can see the growth coming up from the bottom right here. And these little leaves right here. And same thing, you're just gonna go in and, oh, well, sometimes you can pull them out. Otherwise, you can just cut them. Also in this bed is, we have the back line is all black-eyed Susans. So we can prune the black-eyed Susans the same way. We actually leave our black-eyed Susans up for the winter. It provides the birds with a little bit of forage, and it does get some winter interest when these little balls right here, when these little balls are covered with snow. It's really pretty. But also the birds can forage the seeds. So we always leave our black-eyed Susans up, and we leave our Echinacea up. And again, we're going to be doing all of these. It looks like a mess right now, but when we finish with the full lines of everything, it'll be nice and fresh. All right, and one of the very last perennials that we're going to cover today are our hibiscus. We have two dinner plate hibiscuses from Proven Winners, and their blooms get as big as a dinner plate. They're massive. So we have two varieties. One of them is the Cherry Chocolate from proven winners. Both of them are from proven winners, and the other one is the Summerific Berry Awesome. It's either the Berry Awesome or the Candy Crush. I don't remember. The blooms look different on those two, so we'll see which one comes and then I'll remember. I think it's the Berry Awesome. Alright, so with hibiscus, you just go up 6 inches and you cut. Now, hibiscus can be confusing because they are the very last perennial to break dormancy in the spring. So we're talking like not until like late May. So everything else, as you could see, is has green leaves. You can tell it has new growth forming. With the hibiscus, it's not like that. You think it's dead. It is not dead. I promise you, it's not dead. It just takes forever to break dormancy. And you'll know when it's breaking dormancy because it shoots up those same like asparagus looking things like the Baptisia did. But the hibiscuses grow very fast. So even though it does break dormancy really late, it grows very quickly. And these hibiscuses get large. So they're talking like 3-4 feet and around. So it's gonna fill in this whole entire area, just the hibiscuses. So be patient and know that they are coming. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. We wanted to just give an overview of all the different types of perennials that we had, how we prune them, just give you a quick glimpse instead of going through it when we're doing our flower bed cleanup, because it would take a long time. So we just wanted to quickly go through everything so you could see how to get those guys ready to start blooming for the spring. We didn't show you fertilization, but I wanted to let you know that we are using the plant tone, Espoma's plant tone, for all of our perennials. If this was helpful, I hope that you can see how easy and quick it is to just do a cleanup of your perennials. They're really awesome specimens to have in your garden because they're reliable. They come back every year. You know that you're going to have a lot of summer blooms, summer to fall blooms with these perennials. Like financially, it's nice to have something that you buy once and you get something from it every single year. So we look forward to showing you the maturity of these plants so you can see what the reward really looks like. Anyway, so if you liked this video, you can comment down below, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel. We hope you enjoy, and happy gardening, happy spring!